During this shift, we're going to have 4 engineering minds here in Visoko. 3 of them are here today, Heikki, Vernon, and Konstantin, and the other one is coming in a couple of 3 days. So we'll be able to hear 4 different presentations on energy phenomena. We realize that the shape of the pyramid is most powerful when it comes to the geometry connected to the energy. We've been measuring different energy phenomena in the last 4 years, and I think that continuous measurements is very important, so it can give us an idea if there are any changes, and we'll try to better understand the phenomena we have here. The first one to go today is our friend Heikki Savolainen from Finland. He is a sound engineer, and he's been working with us from summer of 2010, so it's been 4 years now. Part of the independent research team, SBRG, and then he was at our scientific conferences. Lately he wanted to see what's new, and then he got new equipment with him, which was much improved to what he had in the past, so he's able to do some comparison. And I think it's very important to have him from his profession, sound engineering, to give some explanation, or at least to let us know what he was able to measure for the last 3 days. So we're talking about phenomena like electromagnetism, ultrasound, infrasound. So Heikki, please.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you, Samir, and welcome from my side also. And like Samir told, I've been here since 2010, and this is the picture when I came here. So everything started then. I was following the project since 2005, when Samir got things going on here, and then I get acquainted with Mr. Paolo Bertolis from Italy, who has been here before me. And we started to improve our systems together. And then we did some measurements, and we did some georadars, different surroundings, moon, the whole place, and tried to figure it out what is going on here. And started to improve our technology, our methods, because this was the whole thing what was happening here. We soon found out that it's not like that you put the microphone there and aliens are starting to come to you and talk to you. So, no. Also, our method improving took us to Barajevo, to Mr. Goran Marjanović laboratorium with the Tesla. He has been working with the Tesla technology last 20 years more. He's a great electrical engineer, and he knows lots about scalar waves, and his mail there, very interesting.
It's you!
Okay, so I'm over 50, so you would excuse me.
Goran Marjanović. He's from Belgrade. And he has a laboratorium in Barajevo, what is here, and he has a large collection of Tesla coils, and he knows he's a member of the Belgrade Tesla Center, and etc., etc., etc. Great man, nice to talk with him, nice to have a small rakia with him, so it's good balance. So it's good balance. Okay, so we were in the Pyramid of Sun Plateau, top sacred stones on the 12B, Ravne tunnel in 3 different spots where the electricity sockets were available for us, and extension cables, because my system is working with the electricity, which has to be 220 or then inverted from the car battery. But the results are a little bit different when we use different power cells because they affect my ground loop system, that is called the basic system here. So when we are measuring something like this, we have to have a so-called baseline where we compare our results. And we have a baseline from Zagreb, we have baseline from Belgrade, we have baseline from Trieste, Italy, then we have baseline from Finland, and of course because I'm Finnish, I put in the Finnish baseline. So this is the 3D electromagnetic sensors, what is the main tool in our investigations, the so-called black box. X angle, Y angle, and Z angle. And it's like this, and this. So you get kind of impression, you get north-south axis, you get west-east axis, and you get the sky-earth axis, so-called. Electromagnetic. Then we have a microphone. This is DPA, studio condenser microphones, courtesy of Finnish broadcasting company, YLE Finland. And then this is Swedish made, our neighbors, great neighbors, we hate them. And they make great tools, and this is designed originally for bats. And very, very high, good, beautiful technology. Digital interface, Pro Tools, and headphones, and your app, and ears. Before we measure anything, we have to know what our equipments do. So you saw the baseline there. That's like I said, it comes from that machine. These characteristics we know, these characteristics we know, these characteristics we know, and the resistance, ohms, everything like that. So we have now pretty big possibility to understand what we are measuring, or what we are hearing. I came here from Macedonia 1 week ago, and we were using the same system there. We were in Skopje, and we are doing a cooperation with the Skopje University, Professor Aristotle Tento, and making sure that all those results when we get, they are also visible in binary algorithm situation. The research methodology is based on our 4 years research on sacred sites. As Semit told you, I'm a part of SBRG research group, which what is originating from Trieste, Italy. Mr. Professor Paolo Bertolis he has formed a group, and we have been doing research in England, in Italy, in Serbia, in Macedonia, in Croatia, England, I said England already, and then also a few places in Finland. Our methodology has developed via different discussions with different people, what we have met, Goran Marjanović, Domagoj Nikolić, historian, great guy who is sitting there, who was with us, and who actually caused our, he is the reason why we went to Macedonia. That's another story, we can continue that. I have chosen here just a few places where we were during this week when I was here. The K2 megaliths and the egg-shaped stone places. So this is the egg-shaped stone places, and this is the megalith K2. Differences between those two places, like I said, I have done only partly all the data analyzing what I have. So This is the first result what I got. This is made with the Prague speech software, which is developed, by the way, from the University of Amsterdam. It's open source, beautiful project, beautiful project. And here you see above is the egg-shaped plates, electromagnetic spectrum from 0 to 96 kilohertz. So in that area there is more electromagnetic radiation or emission than in an egg-shaped plate. So that probably explains that by you guys, spiritual people, mediums, you know, some of us are feeling vibrations, stuff, peculiar things there, and okay, that's my consumption. But that's true. Then the same methodology above the egg-shaped thing and below the K2 thing. But this is mechanical level. There is not so big differences, except the level, the ultrasound level is slightly lower in K2. It might affect to your brain. I'm not a specialist on that thing. You know, everything what I'm saying about medical science is consumption. That's why Mr. Deberto is an outlook, because he's a doctor in medical science. The difference in the ultrasound spectrum might cause you that you feel a little bit less stressed. Because the ultrasound, you know, we all know this is 55 kilohertz. We don't not hear. We hear until this point, somewhere. So, but anyway, the general pressure level is slightly less in K2. So this, you have to understand that electromagnetism is totally different thing than ultrasound. It's first of all, electromagnetism moves with the speed of light, but ultrasound and infrasound, they move in the air 340 meters per second in 20 Celsius degrees. And in water is, I think, 5 times, 1,500 meters per second. So in the different mediums, sound works, sound goes, sound runs at a different speed. So they are totally different things. They actually never, correct me if I'm wrong, but they actually never contact each other. But except here. And then that's I'm going to show in the end of my presentation. Okay, so ultrasound-wise, there's no difference except a little bit less noisy environment. And I want to point out to all those sound engineers who are in there that, you know, every measurement what I make, I have exactly the same gain, input gain. So input gain means that what is your amplification from the sensor, microphone, or whatever you're using, what is going to your HD converter, analog to digital converter, that all those digital measurements are in the same line. Because if you don't do that, you get a total different, you know, results, and you can explain that God is living there on that building. We were on the infrasound section. So, as you can see, the scale is different. The visible part is only 192.23 hertz. I normally use a scale of 200 hertz, from 0 to 200 hertz, and we are talking about infrasounds. And everybody know, you know what is infrasound? It is below 20 hertz. So the Schumann resonance is part of the infrasound. There's lots of beta waves, theta waves, this kind of things. How our brains are working, they are part of infrasound situation. So this is about, again, X-shaped monolith and then K2 monolith. And only thing what I'm saying is 73 hertz. That is, it's you know, the samples what I am using for analyzing those pictures are mostly 4 seconds of the total clip. So the total clip can be 2 or 3 minutes. But I'm just, taking their parts, which I'm analyzing. And they are, the results are varying quite much. But that's the only way to do it with my equipment, because I don't have a military stuff. I know how to measure these things with the fancy equipment. It's possible, but with this equipment, I have to do it like this. So, this 74 hertz there as an infrasound is something to do with the tunnels, because Mr. De Bertolis has been doing the infrasound research and he was finding the same stuff. We found the same stuff during our previous research trips here. And it's something to do with the resonances which actually are moving right now. But I'm never saying that in public. And it's something to do, I don't actually know what is it. Has any of volunteers heard about bass resonances in Ravne? No? Okay. So then I am the only crazy people. Alright, so, but anyway, this is the example of the infrasound research that we did. Then there's the next example how I gathered all those data, what I'm putting to those diagrams. So here you see the different tracks in the Pro Tools system. First 3 tracks are X, Y, Z. It is that black box there. Then this red one is the orange sensor there. Then the DKs, the green 2 lines are left and right stereo, the DPA microphones, and the yellow one is the straight feed from a Peterson ultrasound antenna. And if there is happening some sparks or whatever in the electromagnetic ultrasound infrasound field, you see it immediately. Is it in sync or is it caused by this or that or that? Just visual. Then we go to Pyramid of the Sun. That was about Ravne. We did there 2 measurements in the Pyramid of the Sun on the plateau and top of the sun. When you record outside with mechanical wave, of course you get lots of disturbances from the environment, people, nature, animals, crickets, grasshoppers, cows, pigs, whatever. You get all the sounds of that. It's surrounding you all the time. And beauty of the ultrasound detector there is that you can use a very high quality HP high-pass filter, removing the unnecessary sounds to the results. This is the plateau ultrasound spectrum in the maximum range what we can measure with the machine. The sampling frequency is 768 kHz. And you see that the colors, the red ones, means that this is mostly, it exceeds until 50 kHz. It's mostly animals and kind of a normal atmospheric happening what is going on everywhere in the world. But this diagram is very unusual for that time of the day, and also because there was no, in the grass, remember there's high grass, it's full of animals. It's full of animals, and then you get this kind of sound. That they vary from different frequencies, but the thing what is important here is that it is quite continuous. And then Timothy there showed me that, okay, we go to that so-called sacred place and towards to the top of the pyramid. And then we made the same measurements there. So, this is a little bit enhanced and zoomed, as you can see. it is kind of zoomed to the frequency. You see it's 90 kilohertz from zero, and the red line there on the bottom is just crap. But you can see that on 20, 30 kilohertz section, it is the signal continuity, periodicity, or how to say it? Yeah, periodicity is raising when we go towards to the top of the sun. And then when we reach the top of the sun, it's like this. So it kind of, concentrates. And this is not electromagnetism, this is audible sound. So I think this is the reason why humans like to go on the top of the pyramid of the sun. This is kind of beautiful sound. This is not the sun. It's not sine wave, or this is natural sound, but it's somehow modulated by something. The same kind of phenomena was happening in Ravne, Serbia, but unfortunately we had possibility to record that only one night, because after then 6 days the phenomena was gone. We never get the same results again. Only 2 files what I have. And it was kind of thing that there is so-called carrier wave, what is modulating nature. That's my theory. Okay, so, but this is a definite proof from, I think like this, everybody else can think what they want. But this is definite proof that there is happening something on the top of the pyramid of the sun. Okay, we go now to the Mr. Constantine's field. So this is the Z-angle spectrum of the black box there. I said when I told that the Z-angle is sky and earth. So this is sky and earth spectrum in the top of the pyramid. So it's here is the same, as you can see. 3 years ago it was 28, now it's 24. Why? I don't know. Are we going to the bad direction? I cannot explain that, but this is, you have to remember that this is just a 4-second sample. I have lots of another samples, but I didn't have time to get them all there, then I get complete answer to that. But this is what we have, what I have now, and that is also showing very clearly that there is happening. But it's different frequency than it used to be. So last my recordings from there is from 2012. So I don't know what's happening. I am opening the so-called Suntop collection, and obviously somebody doesn't want that I show this. So any questions so far?
So in between this change from 28 kilohertz to 24, how many years?
3 years.
3 years?
Yes, no, 2012 we were not on the top of the pyramid. So 2011, so 3 years. 3 years. Because I heard that you know the consumption that Earth's magnetic field is not increasing but decreasing.
It is decreasing for a long time now.
Yes.
So it is not stable. That means the poles are moving. So nobody knows. Well, the radiation from the Earth is changing from time to time. And if you want to use these radiation, you have to tune your device again. And if the pyramid has been such a device, then they had to change the device, and this there you have two possibilities. One is that you have different pyramids of different sizes, smaller and bigger one, as we have in Egypt as well. And we have here 5 or you construct one pyramid and you construct a new layer, because normally the frequency is getting less and less, or the wavelength is getting more and more. That means the size has to become more and more, and
bigger,
then you need to have a new layer, a new layer, a new layer on your pyramid.
Increase the mass.
And increase the mass and the size, and this is because the wavelength is getting lower.
Yeah.
And as you have at the Pyramid of the Moon, I think, and maybe at the other pyramids as well, that you find layers. That means you have to follow up. But if you have a new layer, you can't reduce it again, so that you have to construct a new pyramid if the situation has changed. What we see is the radiation is getting slower and slower. The consequence could be that if it is even reducing, at a special point we hear it. Now we have 22. There's not in 3 years.
Yeah. We start to hear it.
Please observe the animals, because they will be the first
Yes.
to run away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah.
They disappear.
Yeah. So, thank you, sir. Here is the Z angle, what we just saw in the bat sound session. If I zoom it here, we see like this. So this is 23. This is kind of harmonic beat, and this 3, 3, 3. This is 22, 4, 22, and the highest one is 26 here. But these 3 I have seen before and recorded in 2011.
Okay.
And for me, this will indicate that this has to be the same phenomenon, but with the lower frequency than before. Okay, we can discuss more about this then. Okay, where we be? So that was the situation on the top of the pyramid. Now it gets interesting, because I love Ravne as a sound engineer because it is a quiet place. So you get a huge signal noise ratio for everything, every measurement that you get. Nevertheless, are they microphone recordings, or are they electromagnetic recordings, or whatever recordings you get? And it's also spiritual, high, the big scale. And this is the basic setup. That is the water. I call it water section. The whole water section. That is a great place because it is, according to Timothy's words, many archaeologists' words, it's 200 meters closer to the pyramid than the previous dividing water section where I was 2011. So these first 3 tracks here is X, Y, Z. From the black box, electromagnetism. Red one is that small sensor, and the green one below there, this one is the hydrophones in water. And below here is the Breuer measurement microphones. So the sampling rate, what I'm using here, is 192 kilohertz. So it means that there, in 1 second, there's 192,000 samples in each second. So this thing is about 15
very short time. I got a count. Very short time. And you can see, this is also happening in a bigger scale, but you can see that there is an interference, coherence between electromagnetism and mechanical waves. And I have never personally seen this kind of phenomenon anywhere in the world.
Because you haven't visited me in my lab.
Okay, but this is, you know, in this case, this is started to go out of my field. So that's great that you are here. So, but the funny thing is that, you know, the X angle and the Y angle are in the same phase. But the Z angle is totally 180 degrees different angle. It's out of phase. Then I did some more investigations for that thing. You see what is happening there. That is the electromagnetic thing and the exact same spot with the mechanical wave side. Hydrophones in water. And also, as you saw in this previous picture, why this is so tough thing for me, is that you know, the microphones in the air, they don't hear anything that's happening like this. But this is the proof that there is happening something, and the water here is working as an antenna, combining these two different fields. So then, when
just to help clarify a little bit, so everyone's quite clear. What you're saying is that we have an audio signal and an electromagnetic signal in synchronization.
yes, at the same time, yes. This is exactly, that's the timeline stuff what I said in the beginning. So this is beauty of this system, that you know, it shows this kind of occurrence, this kind of happens. So otherwise, if you have just an oscilloscope and another temperature, you never find out this kind of coherence.
And the water is an excellent conductor of audio frequency.
Yes, and yes, absolutely. And we also found out with the ground loop stuff. The ground loop stuff is kind of, I forgot to explain that in the beginning, but it's kind of, because in normally audio industry, everything is hi-fi. They want to get rid of all of interferences, and everything has to be pure as hell, and without cracks and noises and everything like that. But I built a system what is really gathering all the problems to each other. That's why the old stuff what I had there is like this. But it means that it's, when we go to Ravne, the system is called, because there shouldn't be anything. It's ground. There's no air stuff, no sound, nothing. Total silent. This part is very interesting here because it's similar to the hydrophone section. This I cannot explain.
Laser isn't working.
Yeah. This, you know, 39 kilohertz stuff there on the above is not caused by my equipment. This might be, but this definitely not, and this definitely not. These are peculiarities. And this is the linking stuff. As soon as we get the electricity back, I'm going to play you how this sounds. With the data sonification method, what it has been used a long time with the NASA and SETI program, and I've been using it since I started this thing, because it's nice that you can see everything from the meters, but it's even nicer when you hear it with your ears. The previous recordings, 2011 and 12, we found a pattern, continuity of the signals, and also the harmonic. They were exact octave each other. Like you remember the three spikes there? They are, I didn't measure them now yet, but you know, they are musically related to each other. And that's a fact.
And the phase angle between the electric and the mechanic is how much?
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
There's no time difference.
There's no fast phase angle.
Well, I can't say mathematically yet, but it looks like that.
Should be 90 degrees.
It should be, yes, but it's not. As far as I know now.
Is it possible to ascertain direction?
Sorry, is there?
Able to identify direction of the source of the signal?
Oh, yes, but not here. I have to go back to Finland and find out that, because there is the delay between these three sensors. It's I think that my resolution is not enough for that. Then I should have done 3 different spot recordings simultaneously. Then use three way scanning for that. But the time difference in the thing is so little that that sampling rate is not enough for that. I think so. But how does it sound with data solidification? Okay. And I want to say you this also, that when we were doing the recordings in Ravne, every time when I pushed rec, I explained everything was happening, and then all our crew, we went away at least 50 meters. So there is no human interference. Not in electromagnetic sense or breathing or whatever. So here you see in the mixer way these 3 X, Y, Z channel, sensor channel, and headphone channel left, right, well, channel left, right, and the master fade. I'm starting it from the same level, like it's recorded. Only thing what I have done there for these tracks is the high-pass filter, which is removing frequencies below 1000 hertz away. As you can see, it's here and there, but they hydrophone channels, they are raw, and the microphone channels, they are raw. And then we first hear the normal, and then I'm very speeding it 6 octaves lower. So, and I'm putting here, you can see a spectrum analyzer. It's the same thing what you hear. So, now starts we start to go down.
Sounds like rain.
Yeah, it's now it's 6 octaves down. I can raise. You see here, if we zoom it in, this picture now live is the same picture that here, as you can see. Agree? So this is data sonification, and all these 4 electromagnetic channels This is important to have this. Yes, now you hear the both things, because that will explain the phase. Now you hear in the stereo image that it goes like this. And this is not caused by my machine. This is not the electrical prompt. Okay? Now I played you again the same stuff with the higher volume and with the both speakers with the hydrophone. Just not the electromagnetism. This is in water, 140 water. Normal speed, now.
these on. It's the same pattern but slightly different frequency. It's the same phenomenon. And then I'm doing the same thing with our normal sensors like microphones and normal ears, they so-called. This is in the air. No frequency change, nothing, raw frequency. Here you see that this is exceeding its limits. You cannot record this. Now it's 6 octaves now. Nothing special, just noise. Then I'm putting this. So it shows the same than this picture. Yeah? If somebody wants to listen with the headphones later, it's okay. That's about it with the data sonification method. One small example of it. And this is, I might be doing here in the future probably, but connection between the Ravne Pyramids, I'm pretty sure that water is the connecting element. Then also this electromagnetic phenomena is not only related to the PPS, Pyramid to Sun. I have a pretty strong feeling that it is like what I wrote there, possibly. And but time will tell. Time will tell. Time is flying, so I'll do this.